What's up, guys? So, yeah, interesting thing happened to me the other day, which sort of triggered my thoughts to it would make a good post for a bit of education. So, yeah, the other day I'd been laid up in bed for a few days, been crook, and yeah, on the last day there was the Kambosos Haney fight on. So I'd been watching boxing all morning. Anyway, down the middle of the house, yeah, I've got halfway down, there's a hallway runs down the middle of the house, and on the wall in the middle there's a mirror there. Anyway, I've been watching boxing all morning, and I went walking down the hallway down the middle of the house and went past the mirror, and naturally, as you do, you've been watching the fights, you get in front of the mirror, and I started chucking a few jabs in there, ducking and weaving a bit. Anyway, interesting thing happened, I went and sat back down, and then later on in that day, my bloody arm got that sore, my bloody tendons in here at the end of the bicep and the elbow joint were that bloody sore. And interesting thing, yeah, it gets to, made me think about soreness after training. So obviously I haven't bloody been any dust ups or anything lately, so can't remember the last time I ever threw a punch. So naturally it was a new movement, and I threw a few punches there with a bit of speed in the mirror shadow boxing, and I got bloody sore. So when we go training, we do a new movement, something we haven't done for a while. It can quite often lead to what's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Now, this is sort of the day after, a couple of days after. If you're having pain during the exercises, that's different. If you've got pain, sharp shooting pain in an exercise, that's probably a sign of injury and something going on. So that's something you definitely want to get looked at. Whereas soreness, pulling up really sore afterwards, that's what we refer to when we talk about DOMS. Now, getting sore after a workout has absolutely no relation to how effective your workout is, okay? So going and thinking you have to get really, really sore after a workout, that's no sign that that workout was any more effective than one that you didn't get sore. So basically, look at that, Leonard. Oh yeah, basically, I'm back. Lenny was licking the crap out of me. So yeah, what I was saying before is quite often people might think about the pulling up sore after a workout as a sign that their workout was effective, but that's absolutely not the case. So basically the body is really, really good at adapting, and everything we do in exercise and even in nutrition or anything like that, it all boils back to one thing, and that is stress and adaptation, okay? So if there's an abundance of stress and we don't recover from that stress, we're not facilitating adaptation. But in the case of training, so we're trying to intentionally impose a stress. So exercise is actually a stressor on the body. If I'm lifting weights or whatever, I'm actually in a little way breaking down those muscles so that they can repair and come back bigger and stronger, okay, simply. So we're imposing a stress, then we need to recover from that stress to facilitate that adaptation. So what are some adaptations? Well, fat loss is an adaptation, muscle gain's an adaptation, increased performance and adaptation, okay? So it's all about imposing the right stress, the right dose of stress, recovering from that stress to facilitate the adaptation that we're after. Okay, so when we get in training, and we are doing the same movements over and over, after a while the body's going to start to adapt to doing those movements, get better at those movements, we're going to get stronger, and you're probably not going to pull up as sore afterwards. But then when we go and throw in a new movement, we might do a brand new exercise we haven't done for a while, this tends to be the thing that leads to the soreness. Because what can happen is, to get stronger, to get fitter, all these things, what we're looking for is progressive overload, okay? It's a big principle of fitness. So progressive overload means if we're doing here, whatever we're doing, say we're running or we're lifting a weight, say I'm lifting this amount of weight for this amount of reps, all right, if I can keep doing that over and over and over, well, my body's going to adapt and I'm going to get good at lifting that weight for that many reps, okay? So for me to facilitate an adaptation, I need to add that little bit more stress, which is I might add a few reps, I might slow my tempo down, I might do a little bit more weight. So if I was here, now I need to do here. That gap, that's the added stress. That's the signal we're sending to the body. We're imposing that little bit more stress. That's the signal that's telling the body to adapt, okay? That's called progressive overload. So if we're doing something here and we go and do here, okay, we're sending a much louder signal than what we need to actually adapt, okay? That's why going on Instagram and seeing a pro athlete and having a look at their workouts, if we're someone that's not training, not working out, and we go and have a crack at doing their workout, all right, we're here and we're sending a stimulus from here, okay? There's a massive big gap, and that's far too much stimulus for what we need to actually adapt. So quite often we'll have imposed too much stress for us to recover from, and we're going to get really, really sore. So it's like when we add in a new exercise. The new exercise itself, it's a new movement. We haven't been doing that movement. That's stimulus, that's stress in its own. The body is adapting to having to do that new movement. So if we've been training, really getting good at the movements we've been doing with really high intensity, and then we add in a new one and we go balls to the wall, absolute full-blown intensity. The exercise itself, the new exercise was a stimulus, and we're going absolutely up here. So that's why we can quite often get really sore from a new exercise. So it's a really important principle to keep in mind when we're wanting to facilitate adaptation. It's sort of like we're looking for minimum effective dose, okay? We always want to be thinking we're doing a little bit more than what we can currently do. And that's sending a signal to get stronger, because we've added in the stimulus is a little bit higher than what we're currently capable of. So that's still sending the signal to adapt. We don't need to be going from here up to here. So like I said, soreness isn't a gauge. The body is going to adapt to what we're doing. New exercise are going to be generally the things that make us get sore. But if all of a sudden we're not getting from sore from that same exercise, well, it's not a sign that it's not working, okay? As long as we're adding in volume, we're doing a little bit more weight, or a little bit more reps, or a little bit slower tempo, or our form's better, all of those things are all progressive overload. And if we can objectively measure that we're getting better, then the body's adapting. So apply that to your training at home, guys. Hope that helps you out.